going on, everybody? So, it's your girl, RealRam. So, I was watching Al Sharpton, the Reverend Al Sharpton's Instagram this morning, and there was a very timely video that he did, and it was about walking with those who you agree with. And so, I got my notes with me because I know I'm gonna forget. So, walking with those who you agree with. And what stuck out to me was he said that what he used to do was he would decide from wounds, and now he is deciding with wisdom. And what I want to talk about is how this ties into the fact that I'm talking about healing from intergenerational trauma and the fact of making changes. So, and it was perfect timing for me because my husband had just spoken to me about some behaviors that I was doing which could continue the intergenerational trauma, right? And it was pretty much like how I was speaking to my daughter and changes that needed to be made. So, when Al Sharpton was saying he was deciding from wounds and now he's deciding from wisdom, that spoke to me. Also, when you're operating in faith over fear, that's one important thing. So I'm just gonna go through the nuggets and then just hit what I want to say. So, what spoke out to me, like I said, is deciding from wounds or wisdom, operating in faith or fear, and then throughout his life, he was stewarding in his calling, and his example was that he was operating at such a young age in areas that were unplanned or unusual. And so, to other people, you can end up, well, in your own self, through that experience, you can end up looking at the world a little bit differently and appear demanding to others. Now, my son did a video. If you check out his channel, he's Fashionable Lee. He's talking about how he looks at the world differently, being that he grew up in Switzerland, and just the fact that he's a military child. And I have said some of those same things. Now, the part of appearing demanding to other people, that's definitely been said about me, that I'd appear demanding, but it's because I do see things a little bit differently. I know, just like the Rev Sharpton said, that you can see that people can do better, or that there's a better output to things. Now, I'm not understanding why something is going the way that it is. There's a better way of doing this. So also he said, so don't shrink yourself. At this time, you can either elevate or replace your circle. Now, of course, with all of this, I am paraphrasing, but you all know that you can go to his Instagram to look at his videos and hear directly how he said everything. And so, from this, I'm saying that people may not appreciate that you can still support them and endorse them. That's still showing that you support them, because you may not have the capacity or even the ability to see their vision the way that they do, right? But you're still in agreement with them. You just don't have to be at 100% agreement, but you still support them. And so in his example, he was saying, I can still endorse them. And people may not appreciate that. They may feel like you're telling them no. And then, therefore, they think that you are against them. And that's not necessarily the case. Yeah. And so what we got to understand is that if someone says, I cannot do this particular thing with you, but I support you, you need to take that still as a win. That's still a win. The person is not against you. Or a person says, I will fund you I will support you. So how I wrote it is, they're not against you, it's still a win. And they support you if they endorse you, sponsor you, refer, or even ask you maybe later on to be a vendor or advertise. You know, if they have an event and they invite you to come vend or advertise yourself, that's still them supporting you. But they didn't have to put in all that exact time and effort in the beginning like you did. That's still a win. They're not your enemy. They're not against you. But we still sometimes look at that as, you didn't support me, you all different. Or, what I just thought about, they be like, in the beginning you weren't with me, but now that I made it big, here you are. Now you want to support me. Here you come. No. They were. They just didn't see the same vision as you, or they just didn't have the capacity to do all of the groundwork like you. If this was your journey, this was your path, but they were still with you. They supported you. Okay? Then another thing, what I got out of this, because of how it was timely for me. So, like I said, my husband was talking to me about the behavior that I had, right? And he came to talk to me about it. Specifically, how I was talking to our daughter. And we have to learn to appreciate that as well. Why? Because there are some spouses who would leave all of that child rearing to you to do all by yourself. Especially women to raise the daughters. They sit quietly by the sidelines and then just watch whatever happens, it happens. And then later on in life, they may or may not blame you when they could have helped prevent it. Also, I wrote that I partner with two brothers, right? The company that I work at, it's two brothers. And on a recent podcast that they did, they spoke about choosing love on purpose. Because people come into couples therapy and they expect things to go a certain way. So how that goes together is, in this example, my husband choosing love on purpose. And we are to be in agreement with each other, which we are in agreement with each other. We want the intergenerational trauma to end. Well, how is that going to end if he stays silent? If he just sits by and just watches me speak to my daughter in a certain way? And then in the end, if the cycle continues that she and I do not get along and she avoids me, what happens? Or if I get all upset with him, he's choosing love to say something. He is choosing to even say a thing, right? Or also the fact that our daughter is the fourth child. So we're not gonna pretend like this is a new issue. It's not. So also with him choosing love, he has been through this with 3 children already. So he is intentionally choosing patience, choosing love. His bigger goal is a happy family, breaking cycles, right? Not everyone does that. So there's 2 messages in there that I hope you all got, but it was very timely that the Reverend Sharpton spoke about walking with those with whom you agree. That's what I got out of his message. Of course, the message may not be the same for everyone, but that's how it spoke to me, because I walk and agree with my husband, and I walk and agree with those of my community. And I want you all to know that when you want to work on stopping the cycle of intergenerational trauma, you have to have someone outside of yourself that can see what you're doing, that will speak up, but you have to be able to hear what they're saying. You have to know that change takes time, and it takes an open heart and an open mind. You can't be, and also part of that message of not being held to your old self. You don't want to be the one holding yourself to the old person, or do you want to grow? It's all about growth. Don't remain stuck, and don't, even in the discomfort, don't even shrink yourself, because it feels tough to grow. To not yell at your child, that sometimes feels tough. It's easy to just revert back to the old ways, but that's not gonna break the cycle. And you may not feel it right away, and then you're gonna wonder in the future why things aren't as good as you envisioned them. So I'm gonna stop right there, and if you want, you can go and look at the Reverend's video and go see what you glean from that yourself. But also, leave me a comment. Let's have a conversation.